This is the Ridgehunter Outdoors podcast. Hey everybody, this is episode 48. We got the whole crew in here tonight. We were trying to figure it out before. It's been at least a month since there's been 3 of us, let alone 4 of us. I don't remember the last time Jeff was on, but he's in here tonight, so all his fans can quit worrying about whether or not he's still with us.
I doubt today's word.
They might have been. Something might have happened to you.
Might have,
Don't worry, though. Had you actually died, we wouldn't be asking where you were at tonight. We would know. But anyway, me and Nate
wouldn't be on the top of our mind, though.
Well, we'd be thinking about you. But we wouldn't ask for you.
Okay, Joe.
Yeah. So, me and Nate did some videoing tonight in his food plots. We did some videos I did a video on the plots there at your house, Jeff. Last week, maybe, they come out. So if you guys want to check that out, go to the YouTube page. If you're not listening to this on YouTube, you can see those. The one with Nate's not up yet. It'll be up after this episode comes out. So, and this one will come out after opening day too. So last week was the last one we had outside of deer season. Now it'll be the 3rd day of season when this comes out. So, wanted to, kind of get into some opening day stuff tonight, I guess, and whatever else. Like I said, it's been the first time we've had all 4 of us here, so I got a game for us to play later that I told Nate is completely original, called Would You Rather. So we'll go through that. Whitetail edition.
Oh my gosh.
Don't worry. Never fear.
There's a lot of things I'd rather do.
Or not.
It's gonna be good.
Don't worry, it's all hunting related.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, well, I bet it won't be by the time we get done with it.
That's a distinct possibility. But on another note,
I have been divorced for almost 5 years now. You do?
I thought you were going to say almost 5 times, which would also be true.
Just 3.
No, that's almost 5. It's closer to 5 than it is 0.
That's true.
Anyway, no, we did some videos in Nate's plots tonight.
Easy there, Nate. You're going.
He gonna blow up.
He isn't.
He's by the window, so. That's the other thing I was going to mention. This is the first time, I did the one last week, but first time more than one person has been in the new studio. So thanks to Hunter, we have a little studio room now that we're recording in. So hopefully it'll sound a little better. We let a little more control over the environment now. And you guys will eventually see that when we go back to doing video somewhere down the road. So that's pretty cool. We got it. Well, first, like I said, first one in it. So, but no, what I was starting to allude to was Nate's food plots are looking really good. And I'd posted some pictures, I think, on Instagram and Facebook of them. But we looked at the Inner Sanctum plot tonight, and we looked at the Fall Draw plot tonight. And both of those are that we did videos in are looking really good.
Yeah, things are going well. We tried to do them right. Did everything we could, to try to make them successful. Couldn't help the rain. The rain didn't come exactly when we wanted it to, but it did come, and they are looking good. Saw a couple of deer out in each of them when we made it there already, before dark this evening. So, yeah, I'm happy with them. Excited to see what that might lead to in the coming weeks.
Yeah. Keeping an eye on those cameras, and then whenever you get out there, I'm excited for you to be able to see what's going to be in there.
Yes. Yeah.
I think that one is just in a dynamite spot.
Oh, yeah.
And coming in and you're entering eggs is really good. So, and you'll be able to see that on the videos, but I might post some pictures from that before then, and I'm going to post some more pictures from your plots, because even since I did the video, they've gotten even better since then.
We had to move that one camera off the Nebraska's because the wind was.
Yeah,
Nebraska's big enough that it was setting the camera off.
Yeah, they're tall.
No, wasn't it, Jeff?
Yep, because that's what I went out there and I was kind of looking for it because it wasn't in the same spot, and I looked over and saw it. I figured that's what was happening, but all from Grandpa Ray's, like what you planted, and then we got the Southern Jubilee out there at yours. Then we've got some oats mixed into it as well. but it's all looking really good. The clover's looking really good. A lot of it's going to seed now, so I'm excited about that too, and seeing what we get on the cameras there.
Well, since we got rid or mowed it and got rid of that, what was it, that tea weed or whatever it was, it's kind of choking some of the clover out. But since we knocked that down and that plant kind of died, well, now we got new clover coming up and filling all that in, so it's looking really good now.
Yeah, it's filling out pretty good. Yeah, tea weed would be a name for it. I'd taken a picture of it. Oh, well, to get the actual name of it, prickly cider, I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah, you
tea weed's one of the layman terms for it.
We'll
so
just go with tea weed.
Yeah, that works for me.
I wouldn't drink it, but okay.
Yeah, I wouldn't steep it, I don't think. Really thick, nasty stuff.
Yeah.
We finally got rid of it. We'll have to get ahead of it next spring, too, because like you mentioned, a lot of it had went to seed, too. But I'm happy, more than happy with how that turned out for the first year.
For the first year, I'm well pleased with it.
Mm-hmm. And then like even the one plot of yours, the Inner Sanctum plot, it's not first year, but kind of the same situation as Jeff's, where it hadn't been planted in several years.
Yeah.
When was the last time you guys had something there?
Probably close to 10 years.
Yeah.
We used to have a food plot there all the time. A few different reasons why we haven't for a while. But now things lined up this year where it would be, we knew it'd be beneficial again. We knew we could do what we used to do with it. So anyway, we did go in there, break it up. Had to really disc it deep to try to get rid of that sod, from all that fescue and everything. Then tilled it up a few times, and it ended up working really good. Down there in that low spot, it's going to hold moisture, a whole lot better than all the hills where I have my other stuff. It's definitely at an advantage there. And with that Inner Sanctum being shade tolerant down there where it's at, it's really working good.
Yeah, it looks a lot like, height-wise, maturity-wise, looks a lot like what is down there on the Nebraska plot we got at your place. So, I haven't been back into the logging road to look at the Inner Sanctum that was back there. The last time I was in there, about the only thing that was coming up from it was the clover, which makes sense because I got to looking back, and the last time we had a good stand of clover in there, I think, was 2 years ago, except for one spot on the end last year that was there this spring, kind of on the end. But the canopy's starting to grow together. The canopy's starting to grow together over most of it now, so it's not getting enough sunlight even for that really shade tolerant blend. Because like that place you got yours at, it doesn't get full sunlight by any means.
Yeah, it might get.
It hits at middle parts of the day.
Yeah, the north half, the north 2/3 might get full sunlight for 2 hours.
Yeah,
3 hours a day.
Yeah, so I don't even think. Well, I haven't been back there to look, but
I went back there. I don't know, 4 or 5 days ago.
Was that when you texted me about that north?
Yeah, when I texted you about where to put your climber at. So what's that been? 3 days ago?
I don't know. I'll tell you. Anyway, go ahead.
But anyways, I walked back there, and that north half it's as slick as this table. I mean, it's just bare dirt.
Tuesday. Now, it was on Tuesday. Whenever you.
Yeah, and this is Thursday. It's coming out Monday, but
so there wasn't nothing there. It's just bare dirt. If you go on down to where the canopy opened up a little bit, where
on the original
where
end,
we originally put it, there's some clover, and you can see a few brassicas, radishes, whatever was in that mix. Yeah, coming up.
That's that kale, correct?
Kale, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yep. But yeah, you can see some of that in there.
Yeah,
and it doesn't look too bad considering it's been dry and ain't had no rain and stuff.
Right. Hopefully, it'll be at least enough to get them to use that.
Before they go
kind of use that trail to go to our...
And they are using it. Even on the bare dirt, there's all kinds of deer tracks
and where they're running through there. Which, even, like you said, if we don't have anything there, but it is still going to be the
focal point. I think it's a focal point.
It's a path of least resistance for sure, because we've worked it up to be like, to plant something there, so there's not like there's a lot of vegetation in it. And then I mowed and kind of sprayed that middle part again this year, which really opened that up. It was starting to grow together even on the road. So hopefully, like you said, that's their focal point. They're at least using it because they bed just north of there. The does do a lot of times. So get them coming out in there, and you can see the trail where they're entering the plot there on the straight north of where the camera was. They got that trail coming through there.
What's going on right now, at least in my wisdom numbers, I assume this in every other woods in the Midwest. From what I've seen walking around the other evening, whenever I was texting you, Scott, is that the white oaks are dropping their acorns, and they're dropping them hard.
Seem to have a pretty good crop this year.
Yeah, we got a good crop. And I got white oaks in my yard, and I've got white oaks on the north end. And the north end of the woods, I mean, it's just beat down. You can, there's no denying where the trail is, and it's under all them white oak trees, and you can see what they're doing. You just see empty white oak caps everywhere, So, and my supervisor, I was talking to him the other day about it, and he's running these cameras, and he said what he's seeing on his cameras, since I wasn't seeing nothing on mine, is that the deer are coming into the woods of a night, and then they're going back out into the cornfields of mornings, and we assume that they're coming in there to eat the white oaks and acorns and stuff. So, that's going to be, I don't care what kind of food plot you got. If you got white oaks in there, that's going to be their natural draw. They're going to go feast on them.
Yeah, because there's a limited resource of those too, so they're going to go pick them out.
And they're real high in nutrition and protein and everything else for them. So.
On that same note, though, I was going to talk about it last week, but I kind of got sidetracked and wanted to talk about something different. But, and it's more of a spring thing, I guess. But management-wise, we were just talking about cutting trees and sometimes guys not wanting to cut trees. But in my mind, if you've got, because what do we get a good acorn crop? Like if you get one 2 out of 3 years, that's pretty good. Like 1 out of 3 years is probably average. So those other 2 years, you're going to have some acorns, but not a lot. So if you have the option, if you've got a good location for a food plot, but you've got like 3 oak trees in there, and that's what's keeping you from planting the food plot because you don't want to cut them down. In my mind, it's more advantageous not for you, only for you hunting, but for the deer's nutrition and management-wise, to not be scared of cutting down oak trees in favor of putting in food, because you can ensure that food's going to be there every year over year, and manage it that way. You bringing that up just made me think of that, because I wanted to mention it last week and I forgot to, because it had been on my mind from something else that had happened. You can't manage deer based off of acorns. You can for sure hunt them off of it. If you're trying to manage a herd, it's really hard to do just because there's no consistency to it. And you can water a 50-year-old oak tree and fertilize it all you want. It ain't going to make a difference if it's not going to produce acorns. So, but coming back to it, it's a really valuable tool, especially like this year. And one thing, one point to it, I think, is if you're hunting public ground and you can find a good oak flat, and it doesn't have to just be public ground, but somewhere that you can't put a food plot, if you can find a white oak patch, like even on the years when it doesn't have that good a crop, likely on that public ground, that's going to be the only crop they have. That's the place to get in on, in my opinion, especially this time of year, because like you're saying, even where we do have that food plot, if you've got that many acorns falling, that's what they're naturally going to want to go to anyway.
Yep.
They've been trained their whole life to know that happens, and they're going to go hit it. So that's definitely a good place to be. And they're going to spend a lot of time there, like what you were just saying, he's seen on your camera. Daylight, they're going to be in the woods eating on those acorns.
Well, they're going in of a night.
Or yeah. And then coming back out to the cornfields. But like if the corn's out and there's no cover out there,
right?
Like if you're hanging out, like we always talk about, maybe 50 yards inside the woods instead of right on the edge, they're still picking through those acorns. That may be where you're catching them coming out of their beds.
Yep.
So, yeah.
And, I plan where I hunt that property next to the public ground. It's got some white oak stands in it. We found
on
the
that
spring,
especially on that one end,
on that ridge, and that's where I plan. I'll go sit in my stand over my food plot probably Sunday night. If I don't see nothing, I'm heading to them white oaks, because I know that's where they're going to be.
Yeah.
And,
the turkeys kind of hurt you on your food plot, didn't they?
yeah, them son of a guns.
Better buy that turkey tag.
I done got her, buddy. She's in my pocket right now.
Yep. You got one with that one's name on it, don't it?
Yep.
Yeah. Old Longbeard.
Old Longbeard.
He's a dandy.
He is a dandy. You've seen him on video.
Have you seen pictures of him? I'll have to show you if you got any.
He's a proud man.
I don't have him on my phone.
Yeah. We'll have to show you sometime. But anyway.
Yeah, he's a big old bird.
Yeah. No, there's a pretty good group of them in there, though, and I think like
There's
what we
three
were
or four,
talking about.
3 or 4 of them run together, but man, he makes the rest of them.
He stands out.
Yeah.
There's no doubt. He stands out.
Yeah.
No, we were talking about before with that some of that bigger seed.
The
and-
ryegrass.
Yeah, and that blend that we put down there, which, in my opinion, this year was probably the best option. Like you were talking about maybe doing some work on it, putting some clover in next year, but for what you had, I think they probably hurt you a lot eating that bigger seed.
Yeah, they did. So, I mean, it is what it is. I
Yeah.
don't care. I'll get my revenge.
That's right. And you still have some coming up there, I guess.
Yeah, there's some stuff coming up there. There's some clover and a few radishes or whatever was in that blend and a little bit of ryegrass. And we've got video of the deer browsing on it and stuff, does and fawns. So
There's still there's new growth there the last time we were there, and there's still some seed there that's just waiting on the rain.
Yep.
I mean,
Yeah, we haven't had a good rain in a while.
No, and I didn't work that ground. I just bush hogged it down and went out and
Yep.
overseeded again, and so
Yeah. And honestly, I think if the turkeys hadn't been there, it'd probably be really green.
right.
I mean, it may not be really green because of the rain situation, but it'd be thick.
Yeah. But,
you'd see a lot more germination in it.
It is what it is. Like
Yeah.
I said,
At least you got them trained.
I'll get my money back.
Yeah.
Or at least I plan on it anyway. So.
Nate'll have to fry us up some more turkey bits.
That's right.
Yeah, that was good stuff.
Yes, it was.
I saw you got the arrows out and got some new broadheads the other day and had
I
the
shot
stand
the old
over
bow
there.
out the other day. Yeah,
Yeah.
I got her out, shot it a little.
Did you do some repairing on the stand cables or something?
I'm going to do. I got the bungee cords that keep my feet slapped forward. I need to replace those. They've under-bungeed. So I brought it into the shop tonight. I'm going to work on it tomorrow on my free day.
That's the
only free day you're going to have left.
Yes, sir.
That is true, isn't it?
Yeah.
the summit climber before, like the Vipers, the aluminum ones, the steel one. Have you ever messed with one of those? They got the different straps on them where they got like I don't even know what you'd call the front strap, but it's got like the clamp on it. Right. The front one has a clamp on it, right? And then the back one's just a bungee cable. Not like the new ones where they've got the plastic hooks
Yeah.
and
Well,
a bungee cable on the back.
Like the Viper I got, it's got them plastic stirrups on the
yeah,
side.
mine's the same way.
Mine's got a bungee on the front,
Yeah,
you
no,
slip
a
your
full,
feet in
a
there.
full bungee.
and they slip
Yeah, I had 'em
the
backwards.
front of your foot in there, and then it's got a bungee strap that keeps your foot forward. You also pull it up over your heel, and then the tightness of the bungee keeps your foot forward on the front strap.
I had
So
an
there's
old. I had an
Yeah.
old. Doggone! I think it was maybe an Ameristep or something.
Probably.
Close to the same thing, right?
And it was a two bungee system, and it just one way it'd work. Yeah.
Yeah, we're like the Viper, like mine. You got them plastic stirrups that
Yeah.
you stick your toes in, then you got
Yeah.
the bungee straps that go across the back of your heels.
Yeah.
I always liked them pretty good too, as long as you had the nut in the right place for whatever boots you were wearing.
Well, it's adjustable.
Yeah,
you got to
that's
make
what
sure
I'm
you
saying.
got it set right.
But
Actually, I think mine's almost like a 3/4 inch strip.
yeah, the front is.
The
It's
front
a
is.
strap.
It's a strap. It's not a bungee cord. It's a strap.
Yeah, but the back of it's the bungee.
The back of it's a bungee.
anyway.
Yeah.
That's old school.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, man.
That
We're old, I know.
No, I've climbed shaggy bark hickories with that thing.
Yeah.
I used that one before you guys got me my aluminum one. I hunted with that thing a lot, and it was a pain to pack in and pack out, but compared to the aluminum one, because didn't know any better before that. But anyway, I've never got a bite in a tree with that lighter one like you can that steel one. It's just the weight of it, and the teeth are better on it for gripping a tree. But I got a couple more cameras coming in. I was telling Nate, one of them's not a cell camera, but I got the Spy Point Micro, whatever it was, cell cam that I'm going to try too. I got the Tacticam to put up, but I got another one of those coming. Had to...
That link up with NASA?
I think so.
Sounds like it ought to.
Satellites linking up.
Yeah. Anyways,
Spy
It
cam,
works off of
white.
them.
Russian
It
collusion.
works off of them satellites that they're not complaining about.
yeah, right. But you're running the spy points now.
Yeah.
Pretty happy with them.
Yeah. They
For,
are,
especially for what they are.
yeah. Guys bash on them. They are finicky. You got to do everything just perfect. You got to, like every year I've had to buy new SD cards. Could be my fault. Could be something I'm doing stupid. I don't know. But I've had to buy new SD cards every year. You go to their website and you download the newest software or firmware, whatever it is. You download the newest one, and then you get it in that camera. And then they work, but you got to do things just in the perfect order, But for the money, what they do, the picture quality is decent. For the money, I can't bash on them.
Right. Yeah, I'll probably have to have you help me set that up just because,
I don't know if I'm your guy.
well, you've done it before.
It normally takes me about 4 hours to get it figured out because I figure out the things that don't work.
If it take any longer than that, you'd have to go see the doctor.
Correct.
Anyways.
They
you
work.
beat me to it.
They work.
Yeah, I'm excited to get it and see how it works.
Is it blue?
No. I don't
No?
think so.
Okay.
The SD card maybe. But I want to compare it to that Tacticam because, everybody was just raving about the Tacticams last year, the reveals.
Everybody says that the Tacticams are what the spy points should have always been. Is
Yeah.
what I'd always heard.
Right.
But I haven't got my hands on any of them Tacticams yet.
And now, at least the people I get stuff from, I can't even get the Tacticam Reveal X or whatever.
Yeah.
Now you can get, it's like the XB, and then there's another one they're making. But anyway, I've got places to put them, so I figured I'd order one. I had to order some stuff anyway, so
Yep.
we'll see. We can kind of do a comparison on the two. You were showing a picture before. One of your buddies there were how many deer in his plot tonight?
Oh, man. Yep. 14. I think I counted 14.
And how big a plot is this?
Roughly an acre,
Yeah.
I think. There's some persimmon trees in clumps scattered through there.
Mhm.
Of course, he left them.
Mm-hmm.
It's a funny shape, but it's about an acre, I think. Yeah, I thought it was 14.
What's he got out there?
I think that was grains and greens.
That was
Grandpa
grains and
raised
greens. Okay.
Grains and greens,
Yeah.
I think.
That's what I'm still planning on doing at the cabin as of right now, along with some wheat. But
Yeah. Man, they were hammering on it tonight.
hmm I think this cooler weather, especially of an evening, has got them out because
Yeah.
it was getting kind of chilly there, even when we were shooting the videos.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
pretty comfortable weather, which who knows, here in the next 2 weeks it might get back up to 90, but as of right now, forecast looks pretty good.
Yes.
Especially for this weekend, which will have been this past weekend when this comes out, but 40-something in the mornings.
Yeah, northeast wind. I'm excited because that's going to be perfect for my setup.
Mm-hmm. You going to go in the mornings or evenings? Or?
I'm going to go every chance I get. I only
Yeah.
got 4 days. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go, and I got wind of a buck there behind the house, and so I'm going to try to figure out. I'm probably going to go hunt 3 times down at one spot, and if I don't see anything going on there, I'm probably going to go behind the house where they say that big one's at, and just kind of do a little.
Behind Puddin's house, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Try to do a little bit of
Can't think of his name.
scouting, hunting, kind of recon or whatever you want to call it, and because I know where he's at, I know where he's staying at. It's just
It's an area you've hunted before, right?
Yeah, and there's a lot of. I mean, it's a white oak grove is what it is, about 50 yards wide, 250 yards long, along creek.
Which is probably where they're staying in there.
Yep.
Or using it.
But there's standing corn on 3 sides of it, so and just go in there and maybe get lucky. I mean, that's all it amounts to this time of year, is just getting lucky, being in the right spot at the right time.
Yeah, if they're not still on their pattern, from the summer, from your cameras and that, it's definitely hit or miss right now.
Yeah, well, it's going to be a 3/4 mile walk back in there, but I think that's why he's back in there, is because
there's nothing close to it.
He's not too accessible to everybody else, so.
Yeah, hopefully you can get on that one. Someone in this room needs to have 170 plus inch deer
Well, somebody already did last year,
other than Nate,
and he's already crying about
a
it.
recent one. Mhm. That reminds me, it was one thing I was gonna kind of want to talk about was, we'll start left to right. What is the earliest you can remember killing a buck? Not necessarily just a doe or a deer, but like earliest in the season.
Well, mine's always been fairly early because my season ends pretty quickly. In the business I'm in, good buck or just a buck?
A buck.
Oh, I'd say within the first 7 days of the season. Now that I wouldn't say that I've killed a good buck in the first 7 days.
Okay, so what's the earliest you've killed a good buck? Pope and Young. We'll call Pope and Young or better.
You're getting on up into probably the first week in November.
Mm-hmm.
Very last October, maybe first 5 days November,
Yeah.
probably. Down there,
Yeah, after that, we was covered up.
yeah.
We didn't get to go.
I say that only because I haven't done all that great amount of hunting after the first week in November. I'm pretty much tied up, so it had to have been within that time frame.
What about you, Jeff? What's the earliest you can remember killing one?
Halloween weekend.
Yeah.
I still swear, Halloween weekend, you need to be out there.
Don't be
Yeah.
scared of that microphone.
Well, it's kind of fuzzy and black, so. Back off a little.
I don't know what the color has to do with it, Jeff.
Saying.
Anyway,
Anyways, Halloween weekend.
that's the earliest you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's usually my favorite time to go. I mean, if I can at all, I want to be out there that weekend.
Mm-hmm. What about your earliest?
It was youth season. The very first year in youth season, you could shoot a buck. Was my last youth season. I think it was October 7th, 8th, or 9th, somewhere in there. It's one of those 3 days. I think it was the 8th. But I killed I don't know, he's like a 132.
Pope Young.
I was with a gun. I blasted him. We're talking about it being hot. That was a very hot weekend. It was 94 degrees was the high that day. And I knew where there was a water hole. It was like an 1.5 acre pond bordering a thicket, and I had his pictures on the other side of the thicket, but that's the only water for a very long ways. And I thought, he's got to get a drink sometime, It wasn't very long after the sun went down and that west side of that pond got in the shadows. Here he came. So it did work out for me there. But man, that's extraordinary circumstances for that time of year. I mean, it normally ain't like that, So that was, I don't want to say.
Yeah, right.
It was just different. That was a different situation.
The earliest I can remember shooting a nice buck would have been, I think it was like October 16th, 15th or 16th. And anyone other than that has been November. And I really don't think I've shot a nice buck outside of November except for that one that back behind the house that we ended up finding. But yeah, as late as like November 28th, I really don't think I've ever shot one in December, which a lot of times by that time of year I'm not hunting that much. But I'm hopefully going to try to do some more this year, especially since we got those brassicas and those beans out there at your place and then what I'm going to have at the cabin. But it's really a good time of year to hunt. But yeah, I think October like 16th. Now I don't know back when I was hunting behind Grandpa's all the time. There's no telling.
I wouldn't say they were good deer.
There were some good deer.
Well, I wouldn't say you killed a good buck back there. You killed a buck, but
No, I never shot a big buck, but I shot at a lot of big deer back there.
Well, that's right.
At one time, there were a lot of big deer that ran back
but you were
there.
12 years old too.
Well, yeah, but what I'm saying is I don't really remember if there was ever one earlier than that, but as far back as I can remember shooting at them, like October 16th. Which
When did you kill that deer that I took you on? Your first big buck?
No, that was December, wasn't it?
It was December.
Yep.
Because remember, we
So
was
you're
hunting
right.
in
it
the
was
snow
late season.
and ice,
Yep, I forgot about that being.
and
in
I
December.
told you there'd be a group of bucks come through, and there's a nice deer. He'll be nice in 2 more years if you can keep from shooting him,
Mm-hmm.
don't. And then I was watching turkeys go by, and I didn't see no deer, and Kenyon texted me, there's deer coming. I'm like,
No. You got it backwards. You texted me first.
Oh, I texted you first?
Because you were up the woods,
Okay.
up the field from me. back in the
However, I
woods.
was freezing my butt off, so because, I mean, it was cold. And so anyways, all of a sudden I heard whack. And I'm like, okay, got one. And I texted him, what'd you get? Well, I think it's an 8-pointer. All right, no big deal. So I said, stay there. I'll come find you, and we'll go track him up. Well, we tracked him up.
Well, let's qualify this. If
Lo
last-
and behold, it was the deer I told him, if you can keep from it, don't shoot it. But
yeah, if last shooting light was 5:30, this was 5:28. So
Yeah.
in the woods for
Yeah.
what it's worth.
But I wasn't a bit mad. I was happy for him.
Yeah.
But I gave him crap about it.
Well, imagine.
All the way home and all the way here and everything else. But
10 years later.
10 years later, but
Yeah, it's probably been that long ago now.
yeah.
I bet it has. I was probably 14
It's
or
been
15.
several years since I shot
You didn't have your driver's license because you freaked out when I told you to drive my truck home, and I
So I don't remember that part. I remember driving your truck home, but I don't remember freaking out.
Yeah, well, when I told you that, your eyes got about as big as saucers, and
Yeah.
I said, I'll be on the 4-wheeler, you just follow me.
It's a cold ride, wasn't it?
It was for me.
'Cause
You
we-
had heat.
The day before we had hunted down closer to the bottoms,
Yeah.
and the water was out and froze up.
Yep. Remember
And
we
we
busted
saw-
through the ice
Yeah.
walking through there?
Saw a decent deer that night, but then went to that spot closer to your place.
Yep.
The next night, I think it might have been the next night,
It was the next night.
and then killed that buck. So, but yeah, so I forgot about that one. That would have been in December. I don't think it was January yet.
No, it wasn't January yet. It's closer to Christmas, I think. Wasn't
I did hunt quite
Scott,
a bit.
Don't you remember?
I remember the time. I mean, I remember what happened, but I don't remember what
Yeah,
month it was.
I guess back
Us
before.
poor people were working.
No, you wasn't working. You was sitting at home on the couch.
No, I wasn't.
Yes,
if it was in December, I was not on the couch.
Yes, you was.
I'd hunted a lot more in December back then. I guess I forget about that sometimes.
You was younger and tougher back then.
Well, that too. Yeah, I'm getting old and brittle now.
Yeah.
Anyway, no, that was one thing because, like, I don't get too. Obviously, I'm excited deer season's coming up and all that, and if the weather stays good and I get it the right day, the right wind and all that, like what you're talking about, I'll go out. But like really, that third week of October is when I start getting pretty amped up for going. And I know Nate, well, like you said, October, the end of October around Halloween's kind of your favorite time, but. And then, Nate, you take your vacation every year right around the 1st of November, which might change this year now.
Yeah, it ain't gonna happen.
Yeah.
Doggone, it ain't gonna happen.
Yeah, but that's kind of when I start really gearing up. So I was just curious to see when your guys' earliest one remembering was. And youth season, that makes a lot of sense. I never hunted, gun hunted youth season. I only actually gun hunted a few years. So I killed a doe in Missouri youth season, and I killed a forkhorn in Missouri youth season, but that was always the weekend of Halloween over there. So never over here that early in October. But let's do this.
According to my cameras, I was just running back through that. If you can get a cold front, at least for me, like October 15th through the 18th, if you can get a cold front, I've had good bucks on their feet then in the evenings, definitely within shooting hours. And then starting like the 26th, 27th, from then on, which lines up with Halloween, if you got a cold front, man, you should absolutely be out there.
You better be out there.
And I was talking to a buddy of mine a week and a half ago, and we were talking about it. He hunts out in Kansas, and we were just talking about, like you said, cold front. A lot of guys think, okay, well, cold front's got to be like 45 degrees or whatever. If you get that temperature drop from 80 to 70 or even 90 to 80, that's enough to get them up on their feet. That 10-degree change, it's all relative, that weather front that's coming through. So even if it's like middle October where you're talking about and it's been in the 80s, now all of a sudden the high is in the low 70s, then that's going to be a time where those bucks are probably going to be on their feet, especially of an evening. They're starting to cool down and they're out there feeding. So, which right now is kind of what we're seeing. We ran a couple does out of the plots there tonight, and what Blake had sent you on his camera.
Yep.
And that, I'm curious to see next time we pull a card on the camera out there, on your camera, what'll be out there in that clover. Now it's on the clover, because I think what we're going to see out there is a lot of those deer hitting that this time of year and early on. And then as the crops get out and as the clover starts to go dormant, we'll start to see them spread to both ends of that and pick through whatever's left of the clover and chicory and, Nebraskas and the beans in there. The beans are really starting to turn there as well when I was in there.
I don't know. I ain't been in there for.
Yep, they're starting to dry out. So, but they look pretty good still. So, but
this close to season, I just kind of stay out of it. I don't want to throw no scent out there. Or give them any reason not to come out. So.
Yep, it's getting that time of year for sure. I got a couple of things left to do, like I haven't done my plots at the cabin yet, and I want to put up a blind, but I probably won't hunt there for another couple of weeks anyway, so that'll give them time to calm down and get used to the blind and everything. So let's play this deer hunting would you rather. So the first one I got, and I pulled these out of thin air, so we'll go.
It's better than the other place you could have pulled it
Yeah,
out of.
that's right. I
Yeah,
ain't so sure that ain't where he pulled it out at.
Well, you don't know.
you guys can use your imagination.
It's his story. He can tell how he wants.
That's right.
We'll go right to left, and then we'll come back. Okay.
You're right or mine?
Nate
Yes.
to Jeff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, okay. So the first one, would you rather kill a typical, we'll call it a 10 or a 12, that scores 180, or a non-typical at 200?
I'll probably go with the non-typical.
The
200.
non-typical 200?
Yep,
Okay, that's
I
fair.
think so.
All right.
I think so.
I'd
Jeff?
already kill a non-typical 140. But
Really?
Yeah.
You're the non-typical guy, huh?
Yeah, I like the non-tip. I don't
All
like
the junk and the messed up
I love
stuff. Yeah.
You know, I do. It's just like, that 8-pointer that I seen last year, it had the drop tine and stuff.
Mhm.
He wasn't no giant. He just
Right.
maybe a 130 class 8-pointer. We had that drop tine, and I ain't got a drop tine.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah,
Similar to your deer last year.
that would have tickled
Well, I
me
mean-
to death.
In the sense that yours had the drop tine and some
Oh,
junk
yeah.
going on. Yeah.
Yeah, I like the junk. I
Yep.
don't,
Yeah, I'll have to make it 3 of a kind. I'm there.
Okay. I'm going with the typical. I like the clean, symmetrical look. I think that, and a non-typical 200.
that's your OCD kicking in.
It must be. The non-typical 200, I feel like the frame doesn't necessarily have to be as impressive to get to 200 inches if
That's
they got
true.
a lot of junk. But that just great big typical frame. I don't know, I just always liked it.
Yeah.
Big old 10
Well, I'm
point.
not knocking
Oh,
typicals,
yeah.
but I just like
Yeah.
like the junk, the characteristics.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Okay.
just abnormal that way.
Well,
And a lot of other different
you're not
ways
going to get
too.
any argument here.
Non-typical yourself.
Yeah, that's right.
Wouldn't
you
want
saying he
you
has a
any
lot
other
of
way.
junk? Is that what you said?
I did not say that.
I'm just asking. I'm just clarifying that.
Open mouth, insert face.
The next one is more property related. We'll go this way on this one. I'll start with you. 100 acres of prime deer hunting ground in Iowa, or 400 acres of, I guess we could call it prime deer hunting ground, but deer hunting ground in Tennessee. And this is for deer hunting purposes, not like land value, I guess, which is probably aligned somewhat.
How can you do one without the other? If we're talking strictly deer hunting, for deer hunting purposes, I'd take the 100 in Iowa. If that's the only equation we have.
Mm-hmm. That's
If
what
we
we're
have-
going with.
Okay.
Because obviously 400 acres is,
yeah,
no matter where it's, well, I don't want to say no matter where it's at, but
if you're sticking with that equation, I'll take the 100 in Iowa.
okay.
I'd go with the hunter in Iowa, but I like Tennessee a lot.
Yeah.
Now that's not part of it. Now,
No, I know, but
Right.
I'm just going to throw
Hey,
that in there.
Iowa's similar in that way,
I like the mountains.
but they don't have the mountains.
But yeah, that's where I'm swinging that.
I will make it 3 of a kind as well.
Uh-huh.
Iowa, they've got genetics, crazy good genetics, crazy good ground to grow these deer on as well.
Mhm.
You got to have both. I suppose the world record was from Tennessee for a little while there.
Yeah, a few years ago,
That
right?
was something. But anyway, you don't hear about that from Tennessee like you do in Iowa
Mm-hmm.
all the time.
I'm guessing the Tennessee Deer Classic doesn't look quite like the Iowa Deer Classic.
There's
Just
a
guess.
reason it is where it is.
Yeah.
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 I also wouldn't want to pay taxes on 400 acres.
Yeah.
Well, in
Yep.
Tennessee, you might.
Well,
It could not be as bad as Kansas, right?
right, exactly.
Can't be as bad as 20 acres in Illinois.
Yeah. No, I'm with you on that one. I'm going the 100 acres in Iowa because, like I said, prime Iowa, everything you talked about, man, that's just hard to beat. I mean,
What you could do with it.
yeah. And the genetics and everything. I mean, I think if you take the best counties in Tennessee versus the best counties in Iowa, it's probably not going to be close. So even the 300-acre difference of the stuff you can do with that, I think, yeah, I'm with you on that one, Iowa. So the next one is back to deer antler kind of relation. So we'll go back Nate first. 170-inch, 200-pound, 3.5-year-old, or 150-inch, 275-pound, 6.5-year-old. Which one you shooting?
Definitely gonna shoot the old one.
Okay. And this is, we'll quantify this as in your specific situation where you're hunting.
Yeah, I want to shoot the old bruiser, and then let the 3-year-old become the old bruiser.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to just specifically look at inches in that point.
Right.
And say I gotta have him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd want that mature buck.
Okay.
I like to go with something bigger than what I've already harvested. You know, my biggest deer grossed 155, and so I'm looking to go in the 160s, 170s.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, on the retrospect of that, is that if I got a big mature buck, like a couple years ago, well, about 5 years ago, I know he is well 6.5-year-old deer, and he was just a 4-pointer.
Mm-hmm.
Man, he was my target buck. I hunted that buck day and night. I wanted him bad just because he was that big old deer, and it was a challenge trying to outsmart this deer.
Mm-hmm.
And I never got him, but yeah, if I have my choice between the two, I'm going for the old buck,
Mm-hmm.
just because.
Yep.
I'm going to hedge a little bit and say my target buck, whatever that is. If in my particular area, if my target buck's the 6-year-old, that's what I'm going with. If my target buck is the bigger one, then that's what I'm going with. So,
Okay. I'm going with the older buck too, because honestly, I wanted to make this a little bit tougher, but I would rather shoot a 130-inch 6.5-year-old buck than I would the 173.5. Just because I think, man, I've had a lot of opportunities to kill some pretty good 3.5-year-old deer, 140, pushing 150 inches. But they're like, for example, 2 or 3 years ago, I saw a 3.5-year-old deer that would have went 140s, low 140s, high 130s. And I could have shot the deer 3 different times and saw him more than that, like probably over 5 times. I don't know. Then I saw this deer, and he was callable, typical 3.5-year-old. I'm going to come in here and whoop everybody. Not that they're easy to kill or easy to hunt, but that, in my opinion, the majority of the time, that 3.5-year-old deer is just so much easier to kill than that 6.5. I'm kind of like what you're talking about, the challenge of trying to outsmart that deer that's been out there for the extra 3 years and kind of knows, to me, is where that allure's at. And I like the big, like the 75-pound difference I put in here, like the big bullish buck, I think that's cool. So that's where I'm at. What if I said 180-inch 3.5-year-old? Change anybody's mind? No. Maybe.
be tough, wouldn't it?
What he'd look more like 4.5.
Don't tempt me.
Yeah, right.
You better keep
Okay.
walking.
You've already killed a 180-inch deer. I don't want to hear that.
I hope he don't stop.
Yeah. Don't stop. Shoot. Just don't pick up your bow. Just turn and look the other way.
Oh, I'd have it.
Yeah. All right. So the next one I got is back to kind of property related. Which way do we go on that one? You go first?
I did.
Okay. So you go first on this one.
All right.
Would you rather have the food plot, and we have the best of both worlds at your place, brassicas and beans? So we're looking a little bit of early season, more later season, or clover and corn. If you had to use the combination of one of those, which one are you going with for nutrition, attraction, personal preference, whatever you want to put into it? which one you're taking.
Clover and corn.
Okay.
I think you have the best of both. If you're going to leave your corn.
Right.
And we're talking food plots.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
you
yeah.
are. So you have the best of both worlds. You have good, nice, tender clover to start with. And then later in the season, you have corn. If they really get hungry, if there's snow covers on, they can still munch on those ears. So for me, that's what it would be.
From past experiences, clover and corn.
Mhm.
With a mix of beans in the middle of it.
Right.
That wasn't an option.
I'm just throwing it out.
Which, like I said, we've kind of got the best of both worlds
Yeah.
out there where you're at. So, but all right. What about you, Nate?
I don't think you could go wrong with either one.
Yeah, either way, I think you're in a good spot.
I do have a special love for clover.
Mm-hmm.
It's so easy and reliable. You
Yeah.
know, it's always going to be there.
Almost year round.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's always good.
80
it really is.
85% of the year, anyway.
Yeah, I mean, they got
Yeah.
nutrition out there almost year round.
Mhm.
Yeah. I'd go with clover and corn.
I'm gonna sacrifice the clover for the beans in this. In that, I would rather have the beans than corn. I think I'm gonna go with the brassicas and beans, and part of that is because, like what I was talking about earlier, I hunt more in that November time frame. So if it does happen to be one of those years where we get a hard frost in October, your clover's gonna go dormant. Now they're going to hit the corn pretty hard at that point, which is like what we're talking about. It's hard to go wrong with either one of these, but that's just where I'm at. And I'm sacrificing some early season and even on a moderate year later into October and early November from the clover because, like you guys, like clover's so hard to beat. At the same time, beans are hard to beat, but when they start turning in September, they're not going to eat the leaves off of them anymore. So you've lost that early season thing, but that's where I'm going, maybe partially just to be different. But again, either way you go, I think both of those combinations are pretty good. If I'd had my druthers, all of them, like what you're talking about.
If I had my druthers, it'd be clover, corn, and oats.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
you know,
Okay, so the next one I got, and we'll
with
see.
a few beans mixed in.
Yeah.
Fraction.
So
Maybe a radish.
you started that one.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm interested in yours on this because you're maybe the only one that has both of these. You've had one of them before. Hang on stand or elevated blind. Which one are you going with?
Not sold on the blind yet.
Might change after this year.
We'll see.
We'll see. Or
We'll
might
see.
solidify your opinions
Yep.
already.
Man, the deer that I hunt.
And this is for bow and gun hunting, we'll call it.
Yeah. The deer that I hunt, man, they walk around the woods and they're just freaked out most of the time because of all the pressure around, you know. But anyway, I'm going to say hang on. I hope that this blind turns out good, you know, and it don't spook them. But man, I just feel like anything like that. I've always thought, man, they're spooky,
Right.
You know. I got some does out there with 18-inch long noses, you know,
Yeah.
and they just stand there and they look at it for an hour.
3 foot long ears.
Yeah. But I've always been a hang-on guy. I'm going to be switching to ladder stands. I'm not going to buy any more hang-ons. I'm
Right.
going to be switching to ladder stands.
I guess we could call it hang on or ladder stand.
Yeah. I am going to switch to ladder stands. Man, I love being tucked up in a big woolly tree. You know, that you can't beat that.
With a halo around it.
Yeah. A cocoon. Yeah, get in there.
Did I send that picture to the group?
Yes.
Did you see that picture?
I don't guess.
Okay, I'll have to look for it.
The hang on stand in a cedar tree. And
Oh,
there wasn't
yeah.
a branch around
Yeah.
it.
I love the cover of
Yeah,
a
I
cedar
like
tree.
the cover, you know, having the
Yeah.
cover. And
Yeah,
Yep.
there it
There
is.
wasn't even enough cedar left to have a scent.
No.
Only cover.
Yeah.
So on one of to explain for those of you who don't know, on one of the Facebook groups that I'm on, and I think you guys are on too, I saw a picture, and the guy said, the caption reads, "Love," in all caps, stands with a lot of tree cover. It looks like he had a lot of tree.
at one point.
Yeah. So the picture is this guy who's put his hang-on stand in this cedar tree, and he has cut so many limbs around it that it literally looks like it's glowing with wood.
I just kept waiting for angels to be going, oh.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's like you photoshopped the thing to stand
It
out.
looks like he made a chest for his daughter's wedding or something.
yeah, I know.
Yeah, anyway. So that's not what we're talking about. But anyway, well, Jeff, I know you've hunted out of both. You got that homemade elevated blind you've hunted out of some. That's in the backyard right now.
Oh, yeah.
So
You confused me for a minute.
yep, well, easy enough.
Yeah, well, it happens.
Me too.
Dementia.
You know the one we pulled from south?
Yeah,
Like that almost not made it under the power
a
line.
mile and a half down the road.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, okay.
That one.
Yeah.
Had to lift up the power line with a fiberglass pole so you could get it underneath
It all
there.
worked out.
Had to jump when you pushed on it so you didn't weren't grounded.
Nobody died. It was okay.
That's right. that we're aware of.
Anyway, hang on. Elevated blind. It doesn't have to be that
You
particular
didn't say
blind.
elevated blind. You just said blind.
Oh, elevated blind. That's what I said.
Yeah, he said elevated blind.
Oh.
You weren't paying attention.
And this can be
Gee.
like a muddy or a whatever. Redneck.
I like the hang-ons.
Mhm.
I like climbers better. But the majority of the deer that I have killed has been on the ground
Mhm.
without a blind.
Mhm.
And that's the way I like to hunt. I've said this before, and that's what I stick by. I just like going in and finding me some good cover and just piling up in it, and whatever. But between the two, I'd have to go for hang on.
What a political answer that was.
Wasn't it?
Yeah. I didn't know if we were going to land that plane or not.
Yeah, we're getting there.
Yeah.
And so
You're going with the hang on.
Gears down.
I'll go with the hang on, I guess.
Yep.
Although I like hunting without a blind on the ground.
Okay.
I've had zero, and I mean zero, experience with a elevated blind. I'm not sure I've ever been in. Well, yeah, one time I was in one in Oklahoma with you. We were
Yep.
looking at hogs.
Yep.
Only time I've ever been in one, so I have no opinion other than the hang on. I just don't.
I'm kind of almost in that same boat because other than probably today when I stood up in yours, which I really liked, and then that time in Oklahoma, I think I'm going hang on too, which a lot of guys are moving to the blinds, and I see all the benefits to it. Like especially late season, it's going to be a lot warmer.
Well, you're out of the weather.
You can somewhat control your wind if you've got the right type of blind and keeping your windows closed. But for me, like you said, being up in a woolly tree, like there's one tree I have in mind. I've never been spotted in the thing except for the time my arrow fell off my bow, and a whole nother story. But I can just see so much more out of that. And unless you have all the windows down in your blind or the clear windows, you're not going to be able to see everything. And then even if you got clear windows and they're up, you can see. But if you want to shoot something on that side, you got to worry about opening them up. And then your field of fire, for lack of a better term, you're limited to windows and a blind, whereas in hang on, I can shoot all the way around that thing as long as my harness lets me. So that's where I'm going too. I think I'm going hang on. We'll make it a 4 for 4 on that one. All right. Last one I got, which is kind of. Do you have something else to add on that?
No.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say something.
No, I got pee.
Oh, okay. We're almost done. If you can hang on for a few minutes.
Don't. That's the wrong terminology. Yeah.
Well,
All right, well, he can do whatever he wants.
I'm hanging
So
out my blind.
the last one, which is similar to what your answer was about the 3.5 and the 6.5-year-old. Would you rather, and pretend we all gun hunt in here or have before, because, well, at least 3 of us have. I don't know if
Yeah.
Okay. So, would you rather shoot a booner with a gun that you don't know, so he just showed up the time you were out there, he was there, you shot him and got him, or the 145 with a bow that you've had pictures of and seen for 3 years? So you've got history with this deer, 145 inch or a booner, so 170 plus with a gun. Which one you taking?
Oh, I'm taking the gun.
The booner?
Oh yeah, I rifle hunted in Oregon on
Okay.
BLM ground, so it was like one of them. You're not gonna see this deer for 2 or 3 times. You're gonna go out there and you're gonna sit and So yeah, I'm taking the booner.
If I'm out there gun hunting, it's because I'm wanting to kill a big deer.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've already seen this 145 of Bo. I've passed him up and everything else. And maybe I've got a booner spotted and I can't get within range with Bo. Betty, I'm blasting. I'm sorry. That's just.
So you're taking the gun, the booner
I'm
with the
taking
gun.
the gun.
That's what every other guy down the fence row or in that block's gonna do, right?
Yep, that's right.
Yeah. And I don't know. That's a hard one. I don't know. In Illinois, you got 2 tags.
That's true. You gotta go one or the other.
Yep.
This is your second deer of the year. You've already shot the 6.5-year-old.
Oh
Yep.
man. Yep.
That was not a booner.
Correct. That's very true.
Okay, don't let that factor into your opinion. Never mind. You get 1 tag. You get to shoot this deer or the other one.
We just changed a bunch of laws right
Yep.
here.
Yep. We're hunting. When we're in Kansas, I don't know if we get 1 or 2.
I don't know. Man, I don't know. I do like having history with deer. I really do.
Mm-hmm.
I really do.
And you've killed a booner.
I have, but yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew him. I mean, that's the one I wanted to kill.
Have you killed a 145?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Crap.
Yeah. Tried.
Throw that out there.
Yeah. With a bow.
Yeah.
Oh, well, see.
And he was the one I was after.
So you knew him.
A big slick 8. With,
Okay, but you don't have the comparison to the booner because you did know him too. So.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm going to say the bow.
Okay.
Man, if you can do it with a stick and string, that, I don't know. Man, that's fun.
Mm-hmm.
It is.
I'm with you, so we'll go 2 and 2 on that one. I'm taking the history, and again, I want to shoot a booner, no doubt, and with a gun, that'd be great. But
With the decisions that we just made, everybody's going to go to your dad's tailgate, Jeff's tailgate, and we're going to be over here.
that's fine.
You
We can
know
have
what
our
I'm
own
saying?
little party.
Scott and Jeff are going to have the people around their truck.
We're used to having people on our tailgate.
That's right.
People's going to be like, what are these clowns over here
A
doing?
lot.
The big deer's over that way. We got to go over there.
Yep. I'm taking the 145 with the history. That's the one I'm taking.
Yeah.
I'm with you on that. I like the history and the stick and string thing.
Listen to him trying to sound all ethical and everything.
Yeah.
Hey, you had history that you would have killed. I know.
No.
All right. That's all of them I had. So hopefully,
It wasn't too bad.
hopefully, I didn't
That
think
didn't go awry like you thought it might.
No,
No.
we're professionals.
That's right.
Is that what it is?
Slightly on something. That's all I got for tonight, and which is pretty good because I didn't have anything to start with, except that little game. So hopefully we'll all be able to get back in here and do this a little more often, or at least 2 or 3 of us, because I get lonely doing it by myself.
Yeah.
I was just talking to myself and feel like I'm rambling, and nobody likes listening to me talk that much anyway, so it's nice to have a little bit of change of pace from Uncle Si and the cowboy.
The cow. Watch out, boy. Watch out, cowboy.
So,
Living legend.
yeah.
Yes, sir.
If only you'd have been there. There's no telling what they'd have called us then.
Oh, a lot of things.
Oh, my
probably.
gosh. A lot of things if I'd been there.
She looked right through me in Canyon
Mm-hmm.
and looked right at old Nader.
I wouldn't been able to keep my mouth
Her old
shut.
man said, "Get over here, they're cowboys."
I wouldn't be able to keep my
I'm
mouth
not
shut.
lying. If I'm lying,
Oh, I
I'm
believe
crying.
you.
I ain't shed a tear. Canyon witnessed it.
Mm-hmm.
Nate witnessed it. He's just too humble to say it.
Yeah.
Get over here, they're cowboys. He said.
I
He
believe you.
said that.
I believe you.
He
But
could-
I would have, my smart mouth, and we'd probably all been in a fight before it was over with. But
I was just ready. I was ready to get out of there.
I bet
I've
you
never been
was.
called a cowboy before.
I think he could hear Nate's fictitious spurs clanging as he was walking through the restaurant from
Well,
his
you might have heard something
whispers from his rodeo
clanging,
days.
but I don't know if it's his spur.
Well, any
well, it might have been. You don't know.
I said I didn't know.
regardless, he was awful worried, and it couldn't have been about me.
As well, he should have been.
Never has there been a guy worried about me when it come to his woman. So it had to be Nate.
That's what I'm saying.
That's all. Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
but
all
you
I'm
could
saying.
have. You missed the opportunity to take advantage of that situation.
I've never taken advantage of anybody.
I didn't say anybody, just that
okay.
situation.
Sorry, I misread.
You
what
could
you're
have had a
saying.
lot of fun with that.
You keep going down this road. I don't know. I said something, but he was too far long gone to hear it, I guess, or
well.
too scared. I'm not sure.
Oh, he was scared. All
Well,
right.
you got the
Turn
cowboy.
around.
It wasn't of me.
You turned around and said, "Excuse me."
Was that what it was?
Yep.
Yeah, I think you're right. He couldn't hear me over your glory. That was just humming through the door, your illustrious Western glow.
Oh my.
He didn't even have a hat on.
I
It's not
know.
a cowboy hat.
It's a
anyway.
damn good thing.
No, she'd have fell right down right
Yeah.
there, probably.
My
No
gosh,
saving her.
they had to mop the doorway.
No saving. Wouldn't have been no saving her then. Her old man would have just walked off.
He wouldn't even have said anything.
Yeah,
he
no-
just
no
turned
re-
around and left.
Yeah,
And
no
nice,
reason.
Yeah, nice knowing you.
Right?
Good
Damn
luck
it,
with-
damn
good
it was
luck with
good
that.
while it lasted, yeah.
Oh
He
boy.
wouldn't even had to pay for dinner that night.
No.
Hey, all that said, here's the guys that pay us to do this kind of junk.
Boy, they're getting their money's worth.
Well, it's a good thing they don't pay us very much. No, our first partner for the podcast, who we've talked about a bunch tonight, and
Would
are
that be
gonna-
Grandpa Ray?
It would be, because we've got his stuff all over the place now. And matter of fact, planted his stuff all over the country, all over the Midwest. We've
All over the area.
Yeah, Midwest.
Yeah.
We talked about it tonight. Everything we've planted on our stuff and everything that I've planted that's got good rain and the weather's been good has been excellent. That the soil's been taken care of on. Could not be more happy with the Grandpa Ray seed that we've got this year. If you guys don't know them, if you haven't been listening to the podcast, because we talk about them every week, they provide, it's Grandpa Ray Outdoors, as you mentioned, Jeff. They got the best nutrition for whitetail deer on your property, starting with the soil. They've got a full line of food plot seed and plant foods, which partially we've talked about tonight with the, I keep wanting to say Frosty Delight. Yours is the fall draw. I planted some Frosty Delight that looks good. And we've got the Southern Jubilee that we planted. The
Inner sanctum.
Inner Sanctum that's planted.
Yep.
They've got 14 different blends, so they've got 10 more on top of that.
Switchgrass.
Yep, they've got switchgrass as well. You're not going to have any trouble, no matter what you're looking for, you're not going to have any trouble finding it. They've got, like I said, fall spring blends, corn and beans, the switchgrass, liquid fertilizer, soil test kits, pretty much you name it, they've got it. They're not just about their product, though. If you got any questions about what you need to plant, we witnessed this firsthand talking to John on the podcast a month ago or so, a couple months ago. They'll answer any questions you got. Super knowledgeable up there. That way you can achieve the best results possible for your specific property. So John and them are going to take your situation individually. He's not going to tell somebody in northern Michigan to plant the same thing as the middle of Georgia if they've got different soil types.
Don't they do the foliage feed that we sprayed on?
They do have liquid fertilizer as well.
Yeah,
Yes.
the over the top.
Mm-hmm.
Because we sprayed that on that clover.
Mhm.
And remember, you could tell where we sprayed and where we didn't.
Oh, yeah.
There's
Within a
big-
week.
Yeah, there's a big difference.
Spread it on the beans, too.
Yep.
Where was I at? Oh, yeah, individually.
Individual.
Like us.
Yeah.
Take your situation individually. There's not a cookie cutter approach with these guys. So if you do have questions about what you want to plant, they're going to not give you just one blanket answer. They're not about a fancy label or package. They're about good quality seed and taking care of their clients. If you want to get their seed and try it, you can go to grandparrayoutdoors.com and use discount code RHO podcast, all lower cases, no spaces, and get 5% off your order. We do have some of their stuff in the shop, so if you want to save some more money on shipping, you can come in and check out what we've got, or just let us know what you want to order, and that'll save you some money on shipping as well. The other partner for the podcast, who unfortunately we're not able to use here at home, but we've got sent Rod with some over to Missouri. He's getting good pictures on it.
Big D's over there, too,
Mhm.
where we were going to hunt and got some stuff over there.
Yep. Seeing really good stuff out of Rack's Big Game Supplements. They're a veteran-owned company out of northeast Nebraska. Deer hunters just like us who looking to get more out of the mineral and feed market than what was there at the time. Years of research, they developed their Rack's products and came up with one of the best mixes available that will help improve your herd's overall health while not feeding non-target species. They've got minerals, protein blocks, pelletized feed, and meal feed, all specifically designed for whitetails. Rodney's got the protein blocks out and some of the mineral, and he sent me some pictures a couple of weeks ago where the does are just in fawns were hitting it pretty hard there in September, shortly after he put it out. If you guys want to try their stuff, if you're where you can, use discount code RHO22, that's capital RHO22 at checkout, and you'll get 5% off your entire order at raxmineral.com. You can also stop in the shop and see what we've got if you want to pick it up that way, or make an order for what we don't, again, to save some shipping, because that stuff, like the protein blocks, 33 pounds or something like that. The small block bags of minerals are 18. So it's going to cost a little bit to ship it. If you want to save some money on that, come into the shop and order it, and we'll get it in for you. And do it that way. Again, save you a little bit of money. And you can also use that discount code if you're going to order from them to use for 5% off. You can, if you tell us you heard about it on the podcast too, on either one of those, I'll get you 5% off through the shop if you want to order it that way. So, other ways you can support Ridgehunteroutdoors.com. We've got all of our products, the tarsal sprays, the boot spray, the calming spray. The boot spray and the calming spray will be available within the next week, hopefully. Supposed to be. So we do have the buck and doe tarsal spray in stock right now. If you guys want to use it, get out there and give yourself a little bit of an advantage this fall. When you go out to the woods, we've also got our own clover and chicory blend like we talked about earlier. Everybody here really likes the clover and chicory, so we thought might as well have our own blend of it. You can check that out if you want to do some frost seeding this winter. Go get you some of that. Also got apparel on there. And then, of course, you can go listen to any episode of the podcast on there as well. To those of you who entered the Big Buck Contest, thank you for entering, and good luck this year. You'll be getting an email shortly, if you haven't already, about what to do if you kill your buck, how to enter it, and all that stuff. And then we will get T-shirts made and shipped out as soon as possible.
That was a question I had. I had somebody ask me when they were going to get their T-shirt, if it was something they were supposed to get when they entered, or if it was something you were going to send later. So I'm glad you touched on that.
Yep. It'll be sent as soon as we get them printed up and done. I wanted to make sure we knew how many people we had in it first. That way we didn't have too many leftover shirts.
Right.
And then we'll do that. Be similar design as last year probably, but it'll be the 2022 shirt. So again, thanks for entering that, and good luck to everybody out there. Hope everybody has a successful season this year and stays safe. Wearing your safety harnesses. Be smart about that. I just saw a post the other day about someone who just fallen out of their tree stand. Ended up, I think they're in the hospital for like a week or over a week. It's pretty nasty when that stuff happens. We've all seen it, I think, in this room or been around somebody who's done it. So be safe out there. It's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to have a good time. So you want to make sure you can get back home. Good luck to everybody that's listening to the podcast this year. If you're already hunting whatever state you're in that's already open, hopefully you've already got on a couple bucks, or at least seeing some promise for the upcoming weeks. So, anybody else got anything to add before we get off here? All right. We'll see you guys again next Monday.